The Queens of Spice podcast is created for adult audiences only. Our show contains cursing, vulgar content, dark humor, descriptions of sexual acts and desires, and is not suitable for listeners under the age of 18. Some episodes also contain themes which may be triggering for listeners. Please take care of yourself.
You want to learn how to parallel park, sweetheart? Come with Daddy.
Welcome to the Queens of Spice podcast. My name is Rachel Ragachu. I'm here with my two BFFs, Ash and Jack. Hi, guys. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
Hey. That was odd.
Well, thanks for joining me. How's it going?
You're odd.
Yep, it's true.
Good. You?
Doing great. We're here on Father's Day. It's a special day, indeed. We're reading Your Dad Will Do by our patron saint of Spice, Katee Robert.
Psh, your dad'll do.
Can we not talk about my dad in that context?
Yeah,
please?
we're not going to talk about your dad in that context. So
Fair.
I like scoured several books to get a good Father's Day book, and just wasn't satisfying for me.
This is one of those instances where I literally was like, I can't help. Like, nothing I give you is going to appease the very, very particular set of parameters you had that you like we needed to have this.
And now what I will say too is that every book that I came across, and even including this one, this was kind of like my fallback if I couldn't find a good one in time, because I read like 6 or 7 dad books, and I wasn't.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, I did. I'll talk about another one later. And I wasn't just super pleased because a lot of them didn't focus on the father, and that was kind of the thing of like, well, it's a Father's Day, we should talk about dad. You know what I mean? And this one is like, I would say the closest of the bunch to a point, but also being short. What's up?
Are you saying this book will do?
That is exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. That's 100%. Yeah.
I was thinking too, when you were on your hunt, I'm thinking like, I did know some really great daddy kink fan fictions. But at that point, you had such a like you had a vision for this.
I had a vision for this book.
And so I was like, well, I'm just going to let Rachel do her thing. And
I read so many daddy books.
I know. And I think I recommended like 2, this one and then the Sarah Kate one. And then that one ended up not even being daddy.
Yeah.
But when it got to the point where it was daddy, you were like, that's too daddy.
What does that mean?
It was not anyway.
Like I think it was her and like
it was like a codependent daddy thing. Like it wasn't a good one.
It was she was. The Sarah Kate books are like the Salacious Players Club. It's based on like a sex club.
Okay.
And there's this one character. I haven't read them yet, but there's this one character, Ronan, I think his name is. Anyway, he's in the later book. He's a main character in the later books, and he is like an older guy, and he is her mother's ex-husband.
So like her stepdad, her ex-stepdad. Yeah.
And he is her daddy.
Wow.
Like in the sexy daddy sense. And like we get into the conversation about the age gap of that one, and you were like, nope.
And this thing is like where you have a very particular thing about why choose and like poly romances. I have a big thing about age gap.
Yeah.
And like this book just coasted past the age gap thing. So the main characters in this are Lily and Shane. Lily is 25 and Shane is 47. And I'm just like, okay, 25, I can deal with 25. When we're getting into like 2021, I'm just like, it squicks me because I know so many people who are 2021, and I'm just like, no, well, that's just not okay.
And it's not only that; it's the maturity of the characters too. We've talked about that before. Like, where are the characters at in their development? Like, Lily is a teacher; she has like she's a grown-ass adult.
Yeah,
and
not that kind of development.
Oh, like, she has a whole ass too.
Life development.
All of the development.
All of the development has happened.
Yeah.
So to that point, Lily has been harboring a dark secret for 2 long years. She's been fantasizing about her fiance's father, thinking filthy thoughts that a good daughter-in-law should not be indulging in. So when she catches her fiance cheating on her, there's only one revenge that will fulfill her needs. She's going to seduce his father.
Yes, queen.
It's dirty, it's wrong, and she doesn't care. She wants him, so she means to have him. After this weekend, her ex won't be the only one who calls his father daddy.
Does he call his father daddy? That's kind of weird.
She does. It's very funny because it's a line later in the book, too.
Does he, though? He never does.
But that was...
Max, her ex-boyfriend, does not call his dad daddy.
I mean, he doesn't anymore. He may have when he was a kid.
Well, we don't know.
It's still a funny joke.
It's a funny yoke.
Oh, it's a yoke?
It's a yoke.
Oh,
I have
okay.
a question.
What's up?
Well... So what was your, like, super specific criteria that you're looking for?
So the criteria was that it needs to be absolutely filthy,
Okay.
which this book, that check. 100%. Katee
Great.
Robert, this entire book is
It's erotica.
one huge erotica scene. This entire book from start to finish. That's all it is. It's
Looking
like 100
forward.
Yeah.
Looking forward to reading that.
I picked out the juiciest bits for you, Jack.
We actually joked about, like, just getting you to flip through the, like
we were joking about you reading the parts that actually weren't spicy. That's how much spice is in this book.
and then just, like, flicking through and just being like, this page.
Oh, that's fun. Do I get to do that?
No, I picked
No,
out
she
a
picked the
spot.
spot.
I did, and it is filthy daddy stuff. So I'm really excited for you to read it. The summation of this book is literally her fiance. She walks into his office and catches him cheating, like fucking his secretary, basically in his office. So that's what happened. They were together for like 2 years. They were engaged. And so she walks in on this, and they always, like, both of them admittedly were like, this relationship really wasn't working, but it just made sense. It didn't make sense to break up because they got along really well and stuff. And it's like, that's kind of a silly reason to stay in a relationship. But they both kind of were feeling kind of and instead of, like, having an adult conversation about it, he just cheated on her.
Right.
So obviously that wasn't working out. And at the same time, in the back of this is, like, she's always had this kind of, like, deep-seated attraction to Max's dad, Shane. And they spend a lot of time there in the summer because she's a teacher, and so she gets summers off. And they spend a lot of time. Yeah, they spend a lot of time in his pool in his backyard. And so, like, she's there scantily clad, and he's there, you know,
Jerking off in the window.
being all manly and shit, and jerking off in the window. And so this, oh my goodness. And so she basically, what happens is she decides she's just going to get revenge on Max and just goes and fucks her dad. So she rolls up to his house.
Fucks his dad.
What did I say?
Fucks her dad.
Oh, sorry.
No incest, maybe.
No.
Yeah, there's no incest in this. There's a lot of, like, but what is the quote I wrote down? You were going to be my father-in-law, and now I'm your daddy. I think we both prefer it this way.
Oh, no.
There's a lot of that, let's be honest.
If you squint real close, you can see a plot. But, like, real close.
You have to look real hard. And I mean, admittedly.
Like, so close your eyes get wet.
Yeah.
This is Bailey's up close. This is Bailey's so close. Anyway.
What are you going on about?
I'm old Greg.
Oh, fucking old Craig.
Oh, my goodness.
He's got the paintings of Bailey's.
Awful.
So it needed to be filthy. And check.
Yeah.
Check. And it needed to be about a dad, a father of some sort. There needed to be some sort of connection with, like, a father and son, or like a parent figure, a father and their child at some point. Now,
Not sexually.
Now, where this does fall short is that this is a first person written from Lily's perspective. And what I was trying to find was a good, like, back and forth book with the man and the woman perspectives, where, like, the father had a main perspective. And so that was, like, a really hard thing to find for some reason. She rolls up to his house. She's not wearing much, of course. And he lets her in. He's like, oh my God, what happened? And she's like, we broke up. And he's like, well, tell me about it. She's like, I don't want to talk about it. And he's like, okay, well, I'll pour you a drink. He pours her a drink. And she, like, immediately gets in his personal space.
Isn't his first reaction is what did my asshole son do?
Yes, that is a continuing part of the story, is that, like, he recognizes his son's a piece of shit to some degree.
Yeah.
And yeah, believe me, it had to be written that way. I'll give Katee Robert that. You had to write it that, like, his son is kind of an asshole.
And they're rich, aren't they?
Not really.
No.
His dad's a construction worker. He's like in management now.
He,
but
like,
he's
runs
not,
the company.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wears suits every day.
Yes, he does.
So he doesn't live in, like, the Hamptons or something?
No, they live in suburbia. Suburbia.
Oh, Chicago.
Chicago,
Right, yeah. That's in my notes. Chicago.
Chicago. Are you enjoying your coloring sheet, by the
Go
way?
Cubs. What?
Go Cubs.
Are you enjoying your coloring sheet?
Yes, it's a mug that has a #1 dad written on it, and in behind the mug, it appears to be 2 people kissing. It may or may not be a daddy and his not daddy partner.
And his not daddy.
Checks out. That's definitely not
His
not,
baby girl.
It's his baby girl.
Honest to God, every time I heard that, I thought about Jacqueline.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait for her to read about baby girls.
Oh God.
Baby girl.
So yeah, and then they spend the weekend fucking. That's it. That's the plot of the story.
And that's it, guys. That's the podcast.
That's the podcast over. Thanks for joining me, Jack. I know you're not done your coloring sheet, but
I give it 38. 38 number one dad mugs.
38 daddies.
out of how many? Number one dad mugs.
12. It's a really, really good book.
Oh my god.
She says that. Wait until she starts reading it.
Oh god. That reminds me, another one of the one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite things because it's like a comeback for like when men are being pieces of shit on video games, like on live chat or whatever.
Neckbeards?
Yeah, when neckbeards are being pieces of shit to women, basically, and they're like, "I'm gonna fuck your dad and give him a son that he actually likes." That's what I'm gonna do. That's the energy that's brought to this book.
I'm gonna fuck your dad and become your stepmom.
So the quote is, "I'm going to fuck you and I'm going to date you, and it would serve that little shit right if I married you and made you his stepmom."
Yep.
Yes, please, daddy.
I love the energy brought to this fucking book. It's so vicious.
This was after they were in like the parking lot to the sex toy store, and the son like rolls up.
He drives past them and recognizes the truck and
Yeah.
immediately calls his dad.
Yeah,
And he's like, he plays so stupid too. I love it.
yeah. Well, it's awful early for you and Lily to be blah blah blah. He's like, oh yeah, Dad, we're not together anymore.
I love the tone that you're taking right now. That like that's how my mother describes my brother speaking like a dumbass child sometimes.
Oh yeah, Dad.
Yeah, this happened and
Yeah.
Pull up your pants, kids.
Jesus,
Yeah, go get a haircut,
you hippie.
Yeah, like we broke up, and
I'm dating my secretary now. She's like my girlfriend.
My girlfriend.
My girlfriend.
my girlfriend. And so like she gets like she's upset, but she's not like
She is upset, and then here, because this is the thing about this weekend. This weekend is not supposed to be about big feelings for her. It's all about revenge, and so she's trying to bury. Well, it's about orgasms because there's fucking holy jeez. I flagged all the orgasms in this book. It's a lot. I ran out of post-it notes.
I have a question.
Go on.
Is there a color system to your orgasm tabbing, or is it just any orgasm?
Okay, listen. This is admittedly, I would have loved to tab this with colors that made sense. But I literally ran out of post-it notes, so I had to use whatever I had left. So all the colors are meaningless. They're just all the same orgasms.
I was really hoping, based on your level of like neuroses with some things, that like yellow were oral orgasms and green were.
Oh, I need to do that. That sounds so fun.
I would have loved to be able to do that level of comprehension, but like I couldn't. It couldn't be done.
She wants to do it, so can we leave the book with her and make her read the entire thing?
Oh my God, I'll write a report on it and everything.
She said it here, folks.
I mean, I have that in audio format. I think that holds up in court. So yeah, I'll get you to do that.
It's been a long time since I've been in school, okay? I'm getting a little twitchy about it.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'll get you to do that. Totally.
We'll write some questions.
Did they like break up? Like, did he see her catch him cheating?
So
Or did she like secretly see it?
Okay, so what happens is she catches the ex-boyfriend Max fucking his secretary at his office.
Yes.
So 100% definitive broke up with. And then he knows that she like there was like a there was a thing.
There was a thing.
They were it's known.
You asshole, we're through. Throw my ring at your face.
So actually,
Love you, secretary.
So what happened?
Sorry, you're
Jessica.
Sorry, you're stuck with this fuck, Jessica. Oh, I love your new hair though.
So, part of the fantasy that they play out, because they do a lot of fantasy stuff in this, part of the fantasy they play out is getting caught by Max.
Oh.
Because obviously the turntables have to turn. And so they like film.
the turntables.
Yeah, the turntables.
Oh, how the turntables
they
turn.
Be turning.
They be turning.
They see me turning. So they like.
They fucking dirty.
So they record them like doing this little skit, which is totally like pornographic. Like it's such a porno kind of setup, where she has
the entire book is porno.
100%. I agree. And so they record this like oh Shane, I didn't like, I broke up with Max. And he's like, well, what are you doing here? And she's like, I'm just so sad. And then they're like, better fuck it out of you then.
But they don't even fuck on the camera. They just do all the oral stuff on the camera, and then he like picks her up and carries her to his bedroom.
Exactly. And then if you remember, so they go through the whole rigmarole, and then they're like fucking against the headboard, and she hears the door close and the creak of the stairs, and she turns her head and watches Max watch them while she gets off on his father.
Is that what it said, or did it say that because she was so deep into it, she didn't hear it until it was too late?
That was the father. The father didn't. Like Shane didn't hear or notice it. She knew what was going on, and he even calls her out later, and she's like, "Yeah, well, fuck him." Like, whatever.
I love how he's like, "Get the fuck out of here, Max."
Yeah. And Max was like like having a shit fit about it.
Yeah.
And then so she goes downstairs after that and has a conversation with Max.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
Shane's like, I'll handle it. Like, she's like, nope, I need this closure. And she hands him the ring back, and she's like, we're fucking done. He's like, you're fucking my dad? She's like, yeah, somebody's got to. Like, whatever. And
Burn?
Someone's got to. Your mom's not doing
gotta,
it
'cause
anymore.
you're
I'm paraphrasing.
not.
They don't mention the mom at all, actually. I don't know what happened to her. Don't know her story.
She's dead. Just
Potentially.
like my mom.
She very well could be. And so that's like, so she gets the closure,
Yeah.
and then like she goes off for like 6 months to kind of process her shit, because she does recognize that like, oh, this is an unhealthy coping mechanism. I'm just trying to vent out my feelings right now, and I wanted to fuck him, so I did. And so she owns herself in that regard, but then she goes off for like 6 months, deals with her shit, and then decides she wants to stay with him forever.
But, and like, as I was going through this, I was like, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag.
This is a red flag story, for
Yeah,
sure.
100%.
Yeah.
And like, I admittedly do not enjoy this level of daddy kink. I am not like I joke around and call people daddy, but like I don't be like, I'm your baby girl and all that stuff. And that's fine. There's no shame in that game. But
It's not a game. It's real life.
but like I was like, okay, like I don't know. I know Shane's supposed to seem like he's giving her all of this stuff, but I just kept going like, oh my god, get away from him too. Like, run away from the whole family, leave them all. And like, which is like not what you want. You want it to be sexy, but then she swoops in at the end there with the like, but I'm going to give him some redeeming qualities, and that when Lily gets real trashed and is like, I want you, I want you.
There's like a texting chapter.
Yeah.
Like, near the end, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, where are you? And so he like shows up, and she's like, I want you, I want you.
And he just takes her home and puts her to bed.
Yeah.
Aw.
And then
Yeah.
leaves.
Like, so
Thanks,
like,
Daddy. That's real nice.
yeah, so it's like, this is like your redeeming quality here.
There's a
is that
couple
you
things
didn't
where
take
like,
advantage.
yeah, there's a few instances where like that's such a dad thing to do. Like there's a lot of
now
dad
you made it
situations.
worse.
Yeah, I did.
Now you made it like that. That was the one thing where I was like, "Oh, that's so nice of him." Like that was like a real solid, not taking advantage of the drunk girl. And then you're like, "That's what a dad would do." Fuck. Fuck.
That's what your
That's
dad.
what they're gonna
That's what
do.
your dad would do.
I don't understand why. Like, what's the problem with the daddy thing for you? Like, how is him being like nice to her? Like, how does that make it worse?
No, it's like
You were just saying that like you wanted the 4 people, or that was like last week, was it? You said you wanted like 4
everybody
people.
needs to be loved.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
don't daddies deserve love too?
Should we make that into like merch? Don't daddies deserve love too?
Oh.
I'll put it on the list. Thank you.
My thing is, it's kind of like the stepbrother stepsister porn thing where it's like
It's taboo.
like that. I'm just like that taboo relationship for me is like rubbing a cat backwards, like stroking a cat's fur backwards.
So you liked Credence though.
I know, but they're not actually related. I know this is so weird, and but it's not daddy. And I think it comes down to like my own daddy issues too, right? Like, and this is what it comes down to. It's like rubbing up against the edge of age play, which is what, like, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that
uh-huh.
like. It's different when you're like a daddy and you're like, let me take care of you. No, I'll do the dishes. No, I want you to take care of yourself.
Like Penguin Daddy.
Yeah. Or like the soft dom daddies, like those kinds of daddies where it's like, I just want you to take care of yourself. And like, it's not degradation, but it's that like little bit of like like if I started being called baby girl, I would be like, no. Like,
So is it like it's too close to being reality? Is that the problem?
yeah, I think it, and again,
Because
like I said,
when you have a soft when you have a soft top daddy type kink, like or situation where it's like, okay, that's a power kind of situation you're putting in a role, as opposed to like somebody who could legitimately be your father.
yes.
Is that the okay?
Where you're like, like your boyfriend could take care of you, your best friend could take care of you, like anybody could sub into that role and take care of you in that capacity, and the dynamic wouldn't super change. But when you insert like taking care of you like a daddy,
Like a father.
like a father figure, like you naughty little girl because you were, you know, you knew what I was gonna do, or like, oh, you were just trying to entice daddy, or
You didn't
like,
take your coat with you, so you're getting a spanking when
yes,
you get home.
that's what I mean.
Let me teach you how to drive a stick, baby
Yes!
girl.
Yes.
You want to learn how to parallel park, sweetheart? Come with daddy.
Parallel park. But am I making sense?
I understand, yeah.
Okay, so I'm worried that I'm like talking around in circles without actually making the point that I'm trying to make. Like, and
No, I
again,
get- and like to your point too, like I'm estranged from my father. Jack's dad's dead. You're the one. You're the one who has.
I don't want to have sex with my dad.
You're the one who
so
has
I
a-
don't know what's going on in everybody else's life.
You're the only one here with an actual father who cares about you. So like I could totally see that.
and maybe that's like, I mean, I have admittedly, I have like my own issues that I've gone back and forth with my dad, and like you all know that, but he's still my dad. Like, and like the idea, I don't know. Like I have a friend who calls their actual father daddy, and I'm like,
Ooh, I can't differentiate that one.
and like again, there's like you do you, and I know there's nothing weird about it, but for me, I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's triggering for you.
But I think it's because of whatever issues that I have, which is probably why I have the issue with like this kind of daddy kink versus like any like Pedro Pascal is daddy.
He's the internet slutty daddy.
Yeah,
But he would totally teach you how to drive a stick.
I wish he would. That'd be great.
I mean, yeah, cool.
And he would roast marshmallows for you, and then he would fuck the shit out of you. So I don't understand what the difference is.
well,
I guess
don't
is what
know.
I'm trying to say.
I don't know if he would fuck the shit out of you. Like,
and I will say, admittedly, like as much as I'm like into this kind of thing, I don't think in real life I would be. Do you know what I mean?
oh yeah, it's definitely one of those things when you
Yeah.
read about it. Like,
It's like a fantasy thing.
yeah,
And
100%.
I tell people to call me daddy all the time because it's funny.
So, okay, I'm sorry. I kind of feel like I'm getting what you're saying, but you like don't. Okay, so you just like the name daddy for like someone who's having sex with someone else.
I guess I use it ironically too, to a point. Like,
Same.
I would
say
never,
same.
I
Yeah.
would never actually be like, oh, daddy.
Yeah, in bed or
like-
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
So
it's-
is that what like freaks you out because she's like, this is like almost like this is more realistic? That like this is
again, it's bumping up against age play to a point where you're actually playing out like the child to like parent dynamic that like
right.
It's too close to littles for you.
It's taking away autonomy to a point where like you're what am I trying to say? Because I mean, he doesn't take away our autonomy, but he kind of does.
But you're like so you're like 36 and you want your daddy to be 40. Kind of like you don't want him to actually be able to be your daddy.
In the way that I'm saying daddy, I guess it's more like alpha. But it'd be really weird to be like, oh, alpha.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about the person that's going to like tell me that I'm doing too much, tell me that I'm doing a good job. Like soft dom. I get
You're
the
just- yeah,
soft
you're
the soft
describing
dom
soft dom.
is what I'm calling a daddy versus like baby girl daddy.
Yeah. I'm picking up twin
I
down.
feel like you need
She's
to
not,
change it
though.
to like sir or something then.
Yeah, okay.
Well, if I didn't call
problem.
Rachel sir, then I
Oh.
would be able to call soft dom
Or
sir.
king or something. Like daddy.
Nah, short king's a thing.
No.
Like king's
no.
a thing.
Well,
yeah.
yeah, short king. not
That's like
cool.
queen. It's a,
But
yeah.
like some other name that's like not daddy. 'Cause
Papa.
I feel like daddy is like reserved for daddy. Like this kind of daddy thing. Whereas you're just thinking that you like.
Again, I'm using it ironically, right?
So you don't like to read the stories then? Is that what we're saying?
when you get into the like,
If it's
the-
realistically like daddy,
like
age
when it's
people,
literally like you were going to be my father-in-law, and now I'm your daddy. It's that, like,
It's too close to being real.
Yeah,
it's too realistic.
Again, it's like bumping up against something that I'm like,
because when I like tiptoed around the littles for fucking St. Patrick's Day,
We're doing it. We have to.
you were immediately like, no, I will not read that shit.
Also, of the three of us, I am the only one here that's a parent.
That's true. Yep.
So like, if
you got everything, you got the parent, you got the dad that cares for you. We're like over here like just trash. We got cats. We got cats.
you could get knocked up too if you really fucking wanted to.
I sure don't.
Exactly.
Hard pass.
Exactly. And we're already established that you and Jacqueline should not have children.
We should not have children. Jacqueline, let's just eat cake and be happy.
Yeah. Not have to hide it in fucking weird places like
Have
the
a candy
microwave.
stash.
Check the board games.
Yeah.
Fishes.
Okay.
Okay, so Jack, I'm legit gonna get you to read something this time.
Right. I'm sorry.
No, please, that's okay. Ask more questions. Let's get Ashton real uncomfortable. Okay, so
Yay, my turn.
I don't. Just read this.
Should we get Ashton to read it? I stared dazedly at him, hating the distance between us, small though it is. I need you. You have me, but he's got a strange sort of look on his face, dark and possessive. Shane leans back and takes his cock in his hand. We both watch as he circles the head over my clit. That feels good, doesn't it, baby girl? Yes, I moan. I can barely keep my eyes open. My chest is heaving, my legs shaking. There's been too much pleasure in too short a time, and I'm in danger of having an out-of-body experience. Maybe that's why it takes me a moment to notice that he's dipped his cock down to drag through my folds. Up and down, his gaze on where the broad head of him parts me with every stroke. I bite my bottom lip. We shouldn't. We should get a condom. Sorry, didn't see that coming. See? Daddies are so responsible.
Keep reading.
It's to avoid being a daddy.
We should get a condom. Except I sound like I'm asking him instead of telling him. Like I'm hoping he'll ignore me and pave the way for us to be oh so bad. Reckless. So fucking reckless. I don't care. Feels too good to stop. You're right. But he doesn't stop. That slow dragging motion, circling my clit and then descending again. Except this time his broad cock presses against my entrance. Look at how greedy your pussy is. You're practically pulling me in. I reach down, trailing my fingers over my sweat-slicked stomach and lower to where the head of his cock is almost inside me. I make a V with my fingers and drag them over my pussy lips, pressing them around the head of him. Jesus fuck, he growls. We really, really shouldn't. But I do it again. It's not enough. It's nowhere near enough. I press my fingers to either side of his cock and lift my hips, guiding him right into me the tiniest bit. It hardly counts if it's only this, right? Baby girl.
Just the tip.
Just the tip. Just for a second. Just to see what it feels like.
Now that trope I like, which again is like super red flaggy. Like, oh no, it's okay. It's just the tip. No, you can take a little more. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not. We're not actually fucking.
Yeah.
You don't need a condom. Just the tip is fine.
I'll pull it. It'll be
It's
fine.
okay.
Just to see how it feels.
Yeah, I just want to.
We'll
Just
stop.
another inch.
Just a
It's
little
already
bit.
in a tip. I can put it in an inch
We
more.
won't keep going.
No, I'm not gonna fuck you. I'm just gonna.
If
I'm
your
gonna
cock's
let
that big, just the tip is a lot.
I mean, that's fair. We like
I
big
promise
cocks again.
I won't come inside you. I'll pull out before that.
And then he doesn't.
18 years later, you're at a graduation ceremony and you're listening to that fucking commencement speech.
They're playing
And-
Patch Buchanan D fucking minor, bitch. Deal with it.
And your daddy's on a fucking respirator because he's so fucking old.
Vitamin
Vicious.
C graduation plays for the 90th year in a row. Oh. Anyways, they really shouldn't. We really, really shouldn't, but I do it again. It's not enough. It's nowhere near enough. I press my fingers to either side of his cock and lift my hips, guiding him into me the tiniest bit. It hardly counts if it's only this, right? Baby girl, the threat is back in his voice. If you let my cock inside without a condom, that's how you get it for the next 3 days. I'm going to pump you so full of cum it's dripping down your legs. Make sure that's what you want. But Daddy, you said we shouldn't. I can't quite catch my breath. I keep stroking his cock where it's disappearing into my pussy. Just the head, just the tip, just enough that I can't take it back. I roll my body, fucking that part of him while he holds perfectly still. I pull him out and urge him to circle my clit again, and then guide him back down to press inside. Just a bit more this time. A fraction of an inch. And then out and up over my clit. Again and again. Working him a little deeper each time. Teasing him. Tempting him. He stops me when his cock is halfway lodged inside me. Lily, you're trying my patience. Look at us, I whisper. Look how wide you spread me, how wet you make me. I roll my hips. Do you really want to stop? No, baby girl, I don't want to stop. But he still doesn't move. Still staring at his cock and my pussy as if the sight torments him. Shane finally looks up. You better be careful. You keep acting like the perfect little slut, and I'm liable to keep you. He doesn't give me a chance to answer, to even comprehend his words. He simply drives his cock the rest of the way into me. Once, twice, a third time. And then he's gone, flipping me onto my stomach like I'm a doll built for his pleasure, and his pleasure alone. He yanks my hips into the air, and then he's inside me again, fucking away all the thoughts of should and shouldn't. Shane's hand lands on the mattress, and his right hand snakes down my stomach to press against my clit. I should send that video to my piece of shit son. Show him how you like to be fucked. Show him what he's never going to have again. Maybe I should feel bad about the thought of Max seeing the video of me riding his father's cock. I don't. It fills me with a fierce joy that borders on rage. Apparently Shane's feeling it too. He slams into me harder, driving me to grind on his palm. It's not his pussy anymore, is it? No, I gasp. That's right, not his pussy at all. He bites my neck. Tell me who your pussy belongs to, Lily. It's your pussy, Daddy. And I'm fucking you bare, aren't I? My big cock stretching you wide. Your tight little cunt taking every single fucking inch. He growls against my neck. You feel so good, baby girl. All wet and slippery and made just for me. I should put a stop to this possessive talk. This is only for the weekend, after all. It wasn't even supposed to be that long, but I don't want to. He makes me feel fucking priceless when he's saying these things, and I'm suddenly terribly afraid that I'll never get enough. Not of Shane's cock. Not of Shane himself. Instead, I slam back against him as much as I'm able. Fill me up, Daddy. I don't even know what I'm saying, only that I want this feeling to go on forever. Wicked, dirty, fucking filthy. Fill me up with your cum. Dirty little slut. Each word is punctuated by a savage thrust. He grinds into me, and I swear I can feel his cock jerk as he comes. He slumps to the side, taking me with him, and slides a hand down to idly caress my clit. I jerk. The feeling of him going soft inside me is strange, but not unpleasant, especially when he keeps up that achingly gentle circling. Once more, one more time, and you can rest.
Well, thanks for that, Jack.
Wow.
How'd you find that one?
Damn.
Right? So that's a good indication of how the book is written. That's most of it.
They don't like Max very much.
They really don't.
They mad at Max.
They're so mad at Max.
Damn it, Max.
Damn it, Max. I'm
Dirty little slut.
That is literally how this book goes.
Again,
like,
and the degradation.
Yeah. The degradation
which is another
kink is
thing
real.
that Ashton is not a huge fan of. I have nothing against anybody. I wish you the best of luck and love. If you love to be called a slut, It is not my thing. And I think when I hear it...
It's not a slut, Ashton. It's daddy's little slut.
No.
Oh, yeah, because that makes it better
It's
in my mind.
dirty little slut.
It's daddy's dirty
Daddy's
little slut.
dirty little
And that's cool, man. If that makes you wet, fan-fucking-tastic. I
love Katee Robert.
I hope your vibrator, the batteries never run out.
May your
and
vibrator never die midstream.
Exactly.
May your vibrator call you a dirty little slut.
Could you imagine having a vibrator where you could press fucking buttons like a goddamn child's toy, and it just gives you like, take it.
You pull the
You can buy like a praise one or
Yes.
like a degradation. Or
sounds
just
amazing.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh, that feels good.
The only
Oh,
problem
yeah.
is, where do you put the speaker?
On the bottom.
I guess.
It comes with Bluetooth headphones.
Oh,
Duh.
good point. That's a good
Or
point.
like, like a track list that you can download.
Oh, it connects to your Bluetooth speakers?
Oh my god.
It has
Sexist.
DLC. A vibrator with DLC.
Sex toy ASMR.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Patent pending. Ew. The fuck? Daddy's little slut. That is going to be my new catchphrase.
I'm making you a t-shirt.
I think
Wear the fucking shit out of it.
you will wear that every time I am over here.
Could you? I'll go to Sobeys, I swear.
I will take you to Sobeys because you'll be my dirty little slut.
Oh my god, Rachel can have a shirt that says daddy, and Jacqueline can have a shirt that says daddy's little slut.
Ooh, can I wear a collar and all?
Absolutely, I'll get one for you.
Yay.
So the other thing I wanted to do, which Ash actually raised an excellent point on this one, I wanted to read a few.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, you did. You did it good.
I did good.
You're such a
See,
good girl.
Good
again,
girl,
praise, not
Ashton.
degradation.
Daddy's really proud of you. Daddy loves his good girl.
See, but you know what? Good girl is better than baby girl.
So what I wanted to do was read a few reviews from Goodreads with this book.
Fun.
So Ash and I are going to do some dramatic reenacting of some of these reviews.
Holy shit. I think this book deep fried my uterus. I don't know if I'd survive. But can I have just one night with Daddy Shane? I always look forward to the reckonings. With this, far more than usual. I couldn't wait to picture the look on that smarmy asshole's face. This story is basically a list of reasons why you should be with an older man. Better lover, clear intentions, knows what he wants. Thank God there were some emotional bits. Otherwise, I'd be desensitized by all the steamy sex. The end was cute. 4.5 stars.
This book was pure forbidden filth, and I couldn't be happier about it. 4 stars.
I don't know, honestly. If you saw me read this, no, you didn't. 1 star.
I love that one. If you saw me read it, no, you didn't.
That's amazing. It's as filthy and outrageous as that title suggested it would be. Probably even more. It was so damn entertaining. And I'm here to support this kind of behavior. Is that 7 stars? No, 5 stars.
You did the words real good. The numbers not so much.
Stars are hard, okay. So on that note, let's rate this out of stars. What else do you rate it out of? Orgasms, I guess.
Daddies?
There's 26 plus orgasms in this book. Do you want to rate it out of 26?
Butt plugs?
There's only one butt plug.
There's a butt plug?
Yeah, man, he touched it. He rails her virgin ass. Of course he does.
Yeah, he has her everywhere. Yeah.
Now,
we do
what
stars.
about Jessica, though? Does she find love with Max?
As far as I know, they have a very good connection and they end up together. Yeah.
Well, hopefully he stops being an asshole.
I mean,
Hard to say.
don't
I
know.
will say, too, this is part of a series. It's called the Touch of Taboo series by Katee Robert. The other books are called Gifting Me to His Best Friend, My Dad's Best Friend, Seducing My Guardian, The Groom, The Maid of Honor, and The Runaway Bride.
Damn, Katie.
Oh yeah, Katie gets on her shit sometimes, and she just writes some just straight up filth is what she writes.
Do you think she's just in the bathtub with her laptop, like type, book number 1, type.
That lady cranks out books like
right?
it's insane because I'm one of her patrons, and like the amount of content that comes out of her Patreon is insane.
Well, I mean, it's her job.
It's her entire job.
Yeah,
all
like
of it.
it's her entire job.
Yeah.
Like instead of being an author who like has another job and just happens to publish books, like it's her job.
It's her full-time job.
And like I will say, I love her website because if you go into any one of her novels, and I shouldn't say anyone, the tags in all of her, like it's particularly the more recent ones, are just fucking delightful.
The tags themselves are the entertaining.
Yes.
Like tags like on a normal website, like hashtag beef, hashtag chicken, hashtag. Okay,
Yes.
what are hers like?
Like, well, we did the Dragon's Bride, and one of the tags was, "If you sexy run, I'll sexy chase you."
That's where it came from.
That's where it came from.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's the origin of it. Yes.
Yeah, so she has like the gargoyle one. She had a tag, and it was like, oh my, and they're so long and funny. Like,
Do you think this one has dirty little slut as a tag?
Probably
not?
Probably not.
No, I think when you get into a book like this, you just kind of expect that kind of stuff.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so on the on the Gargoyle's Captive, this is just a few of them. Ribbed for her pleasure. Every time you run, I'll catch you and drag you back to my bed. Who needs therapy when I have kinky sex?
That's a tag of Rachel's life.
Oh, God, fuck yeah. The reason we're uniquely suited for each other is the same reason we can never be together.
That's one tag.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yes, I lit you on fire and roasted a marshmallow on you. Totally fine, burning body, but you are equally to blame.
Fair.
I tried to do this right, but if you're going to lie to me, then I'm going to be the monster you think I am. And the last one is, it's too big, which is my favorite tag.
I mean, who doesn't love
nice.
it's too big tag?
Swoon.
Give me that big dick.
It's not going to fit. That's my favorite line.
Sir, that's not gonna fit.
But also, like, it's not gonna fit often comes before the I have to make you come a couple more times in order to relax you enough to make it fit. So there's like multi layers as to why the it's not gonna fit thing is so good.
So the first tag that I didn't read on that book, because it's fairly obvious, is monster fucking.
Yeah.
And when you have monster fucking and it's too big, I'm here for it.
I mean, it doesn't even need to be monster fucking, and
It helps.
it helps. But I'm like, anytime it's too big, like pucking around, Ilmari is like, and it actually is a part of the thing. He's like, one of the guys is like, do you want to
very heavy.
do you want to like DVP her with me? And Ilmari's like, I'm not against it, but my dick's real big and I don't want to hurt her. And like Jake was like, well, I get if you don't want it, like, because I know you're not like into our dicks rubbing together. And he's like, no, I'm not against it. It's just I'm really big. Like, I'm big. And it's like, yes, you are, sir.
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 So,
Sir.
let's rate this. Let's just easy peasy 5 stars. What'd you think?
5.
That was bold. Why?
Did you hear the part
I
that I
did.
read?
Yes, we both read it several times.
Well, I only read it once. But
I read it several times. You read it once. Yeah.
And that's assuming that Jessica has a good life.
5 stars contingent on Jessica having a good life.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Max told her that he had broken up with Lily.
I mean, I don't know if he knew they were in.
We
I don't
don't
know
know.
if Jessica. I don't know if Jessica knew that they were in a
Of
relationship.
course she did. She's his secretary. Who do you think sends her flowers on Valentine's? Because it's not
Vicious.
fucking Max.
No, it's probably nobody.
No, it's Jessica.
It's
Because
probably-
she's a great fucking secretary who deserves a good life. So
I mean-
5 stars if she gets one. Katie.
I'm gonna say like 3 stars, and I think that's fair. If you know what you're getting into in this book, which I kind of did, I kind of went for it for this reason. It's just trash. This is just filth. It's just filthy trash. The story's like whatever. It's very secondary. I found, God love Katie, but one of the things I will say about a lot of her novellas is that I find spelling mistakes everywhere.
It
It's
might have
frequent.
been one of the ones that she like self-published too.
She self-publishes a lot of her books.
Yeah.
This is like reprint number 3 though. So like, you know what I mean? Like every so often I'll be like, I will take that under consideration of like, oh, okay, this is a self-published author. I'm not going to like be too critical about the editing or whatever. This has been like out for a long time.
Hey girl, send it to me and I'll look through it a little.
I will beta read everything
Like,
forever.
just for spelling and whatnot.
Send me the arc. Send me the arc. Send me the arc.
But to that, like, solid 3 stars because like fucking Jesus Christ, this book, read it one-handed, that whole thing.
Why, Rachel? Do you
Well,
have to read it one-handed?
Did you were there? You read it. You know what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. And unlike you, I just Daddy King does it for me, so that's fine.
Yeah, man.
Perfectly
like I
okay
said.
with that. And again, like the age gap is always kind of weird, admittedly, but like Katee made it less weird in this, I will say, because like for me, she was a grown ass adult. She has her life together to so much. She owns herself, knowing that she went in here for this revenge, specifically for this reason, and she also balanced out her emotions with it in the long run because she like took that 6 months grace period and be like, am I really obsessed with this guy? Am I rebounding, whatever? And she's like, no, I actually am obsessed with this guy. It's great. So I solid 3 stars. Jack, you have your hand up. What's up?
I feel like is it maybe kind of better that she sought him out as well with the age thing, because it's not like he was like creeping on her like at family dinners and stuff.
He was, and admittedly, he was very respectful of her, like over the years. Except for like there was one instance where she was like masturbating in his pool, and he had come home for lunch and like saw it from the window. Like,
but even still,
he kept his
didn't call it
distance.
out.
Yeah,
He watched from the window. Like it wasn't like
he was a respectful peeper.
right.
Yeah.
If you're gonna like, come on, like you're doing that in his pool.
I think she was in a lounger, wasn't she?
Or wherever. He's gonna see you.
The lounger was the like epilogue, like at the end.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't keep it all straight. Like it was like I was in a maze, and every time I turned, I walked in on somebody having sex.
There's so much sex.
I was like, "Whoa, there's sex! Oh, there's sex! Oh, there's sex! Oh, there's sex!"
Yeah,
It's like
it's
I'm
everywhere.
gonna get to the end of it.
So because of that, like, I mean, I knew what I was getting into. Solid 3. Like, not a great book, not a shitty book. It was just, it's exactly as advertised. So
Needs
that's
more
what it is.
Jessica, is what you're saying.
No.
10 out of 10 needs more Jessica.
Ash, what's your review?
I require a little bit more plot with my porn. I'm all for the raunch and the like.
And raunch this has in spades.
Oh, listen,
It's
she
just
like
raunch.
if I was rating this based on like the quality of erotica, 5 stars. Like it is like for like 5 stars. But like in terms of like, would I recommend? Would I reread? Would I continue in the series? That kind of thing. Like 2.5, 3. Like probably 2.5. Like it was not poorly written. It was entertaining for what it was. Like you knew what you were getting when you're going into it. Would I have sought this out on my own if we didn't need to read it for the podcast? I mean, I had it, so admittedly, yeah, probably. But
Yeah.
I think I would have had to have been in like the
mood,
right
yeah.
mindset, and like if
And I will say too, this is it's a novella. It's like 130 pages.
Yeah.
It's real quick.
if I was like, hey man, need something literary to get myself off, I would turn to this. No, I wouldn't.
No, you
because
wouldn't.
Are we calling this literary?
yeah, lit-erotica.
It is lit. It's was it clit?
But when you say literary, people think of like Jane Austen or something.
If Jane Austen wrote erotica, I'd be all over that.
Yeah.
Does she? I don't know what she writes.
No.
This type of like erotica I would turn to if I were like, I just need something like literary to get myself off.
But not the daddy part.
But not the daddy part.
Well, she has lots of other taboo books.
Well, that's what I mean. Like I might try some of the other books just to see, because like, I mean,
I am intrigued.
A girl needs a little bit of, imagination sometimes. When she wants to date herself.
You need some literary imagination for your spank bank. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline has it right up.
I request that we read that like best friend one for
My dad's best friend.
The other one.
Given to my best friend.
Gifting me to his best friend.
That one.
Why?
I just feel like it might be interesting.
What I will say though, and to your point, Jack, is that this is officially the 3rd Katee Robert book we've covered. So I'm hopeful that we can retire Katee Robert from our repertoire for a while, because as much as I absolutely fucking love her and she is our patron queen of spice, we gotta find some other authors.
Okay, fair.
I got lots.
Yeah,
Just none of them that would fit this.
none of them fit this. Yeah, like I said, this is my fallback book on it.
Well, and like a lot of the dad books that I stumbled across, or like I even thought would be like worth reading or trying, were like the third.
Oh
the fifth,
God,
the
I
seventh
came
in the
across
series.
so many of those, and it's like this is the 5th book of a 9-book series. I'm like, I can't commit to that.
And like
I need a one shot. It's got to be a novella. It's
and you
gotta
wanted
be,
it dirty.
Yeah, filthy.
This wasn't going to be a repeat of Juniper Hill where it was all sweet and stuff. Do you know what? I really regret doing the fucking Penguin book. Like when we did, we should have saved it for now because that would have been a good daddy gig book.
The Mpreg was real though, so it's like, but yeah, there's a lot of daddies.
But
in that
that's
book.
daddy.
Yeah, that's true. You're not wrong. It would have been a good one. So to the other book point on that one, I read one of the other books I read this week was called Charming Your Dad. It was one of the books that was on my list for this, and it ended up being like a supernatural romance.
Oh, the Sarah Blue one.
Yes, Sarah Blue. Which
Yeah.
So you said you were kind of like hit or miss on her as an author.
Okay, so I read One Pucked Up Pack.
That's a Sarah Blue book, obviously.
That's a Sarah Blue book. It's like a Why Choose Omegaverse hockey story. And it was very similar to Pucking Around, which I read after. But there was just, I did not like the way it was written. I have never seen the word perfumed used in an Omegaverse fic. Like, anyway, there's just a lot of stuff. And like, when one of the guys would get down and like when the goalie would get down and do his stretches, she would like call it humping the ice, like
Which is
does.
what they
No,
do. That's what
yeah,
they
it
do.
is.
Totally.
It is. No, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying I would prefer someone to describe what he's doing versus to just
You
be
don't like that nomenclature?
He humping the ice.
What better way to describe it, though?
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're sensually stroking their hips towards the ice.
Listen, it's hot as fuck when they do it. I get that. I was not a fan of how
Seattle
it was
Kraken, call it out. What's up? We see your TikToks. We know.
It's not. There's a lot of hockey player TikTok right
Listen,
now.
the only one I follow is Seattle Kraken. Is the only book talk.
See, they're doing it right though, because they're not
Yeah,
just
they
giving
are.
you thirst traps; they're giving you funny stuff too.
Yeah,
But
they
anyway,
So Charming Your Dad by Sarah Blue, it really, like, honest to God, is a mix between, like, if you've ever seen it, Winona Earp and Supernatural. And I don't even know. No, seriously. And I love both of those franchises. Like, they're wonderful. And so, like, this is, this badass witch. Again, like, getting back at her bullshit cheating ex. What does she do? She fucks his dad. His dad comes to town. But it's a supernatural romance. So, like, there's so much other stuff going on. And, like, he ends up being a demon. She's a witch, but she's also, like, Lucifer's love child and all this shit. It's crazy. It goes completely off the rails from, like, the original plot of, like, well, I'm gonna fuck your dad for revenge. And it's like, what just happened? Everything just explodes.
and why didn't you want to do that one?
Because it just, like, it ran away from the plot in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
In that, like, it ended up being more about world building than it did anything else, I think. And, like, building, like how the witches operate, and, like, there's all this stuff going on with the coven in the background, and, like, her mom ends up being, like, possessed by, like, who ends up being her sister. Like, it's this whole fucking thing. Like, it's a big story, and there's a
long?
bunch of, it's not it's like 300 pages.
Okay,
300 or
so it's
400
pretty
pages.
average.
Yeah, it's a fairly average sized book, but it just, like, wasn't the vibe I was going for.
Is
was-
there more than one in the series?
Yeah, there's a couple books in the series.
Okay, so there's like she was like setting it up.
Yeah, this is definitely a setup for some other stuff that goes on. Admittedly, though, it was a very good book, and I did really enjoy it. And, like, it gave me that Winona Earp vibe, which I fucking love Winona Earp. If anyone's ever seen it, it's a TV show. It's Canadian. I really, really like that kind of, like, ridiculous badass woman, but, like, has a reason to be a fucking badass. And it ends up being, like, this huge thing about her past that she could never figure out. And, like, why the fuck am I like this? Why am I an outcast? And why is everything weird? And, like, but she ends up, like, resolving all those things about herself, and at the same time owning her sexuality in a big way and all these things. So I really, really enjoy that kind of story.
Does it resonate with you, Rachel?
Oh, potentially. But I wish I had the main character energy like that. That'd be rad. And so it like I said, it goes off the rails. Huge world building. Really enjoy it. Charming Your Dad by Sarah Blue. It was really fun.
Every time you say Charming Your Dad, I hear Charmander Dad.
Charmander, char. I am a Pokemon master.
It always comes back to the Pokemon.
Always.
Char.
What have you been reading this week, Ash?
The vibe of the book that I read this week was not like the one that we just reviewed.
Okay.
Do you remember when I was like, I really need to start reading the synopsis of books before I get into books?
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, listen. So the book that I'm going to talk about, the book that I read, is called Whisper by Tal Bauer. And
Who did our hockey book that we read?
yeah, he did Gravity. Queer romance author. He like, and admittedly, this was another one similar to the Beyond the Roses, where like, they're
Happy
having
ending,
sex,
happy
but
ending debatable or
no, they do get a happy ending. No,
Okay,
no,
good.
yeah, no, they do get a happy ending.
Good.
But getting there is hard. And like the sexy times is happening, but like it's not like heavy in the cock. Do you know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of like super explicit. It's more about like the emotion between the two of them.
is it two male characters again?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Chris Caldera is a like junior analyst for the CIA. He works in the ALEC division, which is the division that oversees Afghanistan. And it's him on September 11th. Yeah, exactly.
Jesus, we're already getting into it.
Yeah. So it's him on September 11th. And he's freaking out because he recognizes the names of the guys. They have come across his desk. And so the long and short of that is he's gay. And he is really good at what he does. And he ends up going to Afghanistan with, I'm going to say cowboys, but like, the guys. And
Bros. Bro.
well, I mean, there's like special forces soldiers and stuff, but like
Special Forces bros.
special forces bros.
Gym bros.
They're just fancy gym bros.
Jesus Christ.
Chads.
Bro ops.
Bro ops.
Special bro.
Special bro ops.
And it's like the guys that like he is supposed to work with, not like the special agents guys, but like it's the analyst guys and like the guys who like run these ops that are like, they don't want him there because being gay in Afghanistan
Very bad.
and like Pakistan
Very bad for your health.
is illegal. Sorry, I don't know if it's illegal to be gay in Afghanistan, but it does talk about how in Pakistan it is like, it's not okay to be gay. So they're really worried about like what's going to happen to him. And admittedly, because it is a little more obvious, I guess, that he's gay, they tend to treat him a little bit differently. Anyway, so he meets this guy, David Haddad, and David is a special forces sergeant, David Haddad. And David kind of like attaches himself to Chris. And David's whole thing is he's from Libya. And like he and his mom escaped Libya because his father was killed by Gaddafi. So it's like a lot of heavy shit. And his whole thing is he's too Arab to be American, but he's too American to be Arab, but he's too gay to be Muslim. So Chris basically like helps set up all of these like protocols and stuff. Like he's on the ground from the get-go. And then something goes sideways and David gets taken and Chris goes like, a bunch of people get killed. Chris gets sent back to America and they're separated for a very long time. And so David ends up in this mountain region and and then of course like there's a whole like whodunit and like, oh, there's a mole in the CIA and blah, 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 all that stuff. But they just fucking love each other so much. And it got to the point where like, yes, it was very sad that they were separated and all the things that they went through were really sad, but it was also really difficult to read the way that the Arab people were being treated. It was not pleasant and it made you feel things, particularly as like I remember when it all happened. Like we remember when it all happened.
We were in high school.
Yeah. And like a lot of the names I remember coming up and I remember people talking about, and like we weren't adults at the time, but we were old enough to be aware. And like even down to the the detainee programs and like how they were being treated, and like Chris couldn't stay and do these things because there was such a lack of humanity there, and it was just fucking heart-wrenching. And then like the way David comes back and like Chris goes from being this, like, he's really culturally aware, which is fantastic, and like he's really good at like building a rapport, and he understands the people, and it was such a good book. It was so,
The emotion sounds real in this book.
Yeah.
You gotta be real strong to read it.
I'm sorry. Was this a sex book or like some biography? I'm for real asking because I don't know.
It wasn't a biography.
It's interesting to come across like it's almost historical romance. It will be considered historical romance someday.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I remember telling my mom about this book, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I'd really like to read that." And I'm like, "Well, it's a romance." And she'd be like, "Nope, never mind."
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, why does the romance aspect of it? Because like, okay, yeah, it's a romance, but also there is such a political component to that romance that, like, it's not that the romance is secondary, because the romance is very important, but I think it adds an extra layer to like the depth of the story.
Well, that is the story.
It's not like romance just for romance sake. It's romance as the story that makes like
that's
the rest
plot
of
is
it.
the romance.
Yeah. But it also like the humanity of it all. Like it's just
and it sounds like a very realistic kind of thing.
Yes.
In that like that if that was a true story, it wouldn't surprise me, sort of thing.
Well, that's what I was asking. I was
legit.
joking.
When you get into it and they're like, they don't. Well, I mean, not that they don't get in. He doesn't go into like extreme details, but there are things where they like casually mention like the like waterboarding is brought up, and like
jeez,
the live burials and stuff like that, and it's like,
and we're just jerking off to this book. I don't understand. Like, we like this?
No.
Those are the things that are happening in the background.
These are like, this wasn't a book that I read to get off on.
Okay. Well,
no, this wasn't like
so
your dad will do.
Well, so what was the prompt for you to read that book?
It's Tal Bauer.
That was the only reason? Just because? Tal Bauer's a great author.
I recently joined up in like his Facebook group, and a lot of people have been talking about it there, and like how good it was, and like how emotional it was, and we all know what a whore I can be for a book that's emotional.
You like to feel some shit, yeah.
Yeah, listen, man, I don't want to feel my own shit. I want to feel other people's shit.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, right?
Hundo.
So I had seen it talked about a couple times, and I thought, well, I mean, it's Tal Bauer. It just kind of bumped it up my list of Tal Bauer books to read, because I've read a couple of his more like political. I haven't read a lot of his political romance stuff. I read the Secret Service one, but I've read a lot of his like sports one. So I want to get into
branch out a bit.
Yeah. And I really enjoy his writing, because he does have that emotional piece that. Like, and that heavy story component that I need in a book. Like, I could get into a book and have like the sex glossed over. Like, if they kiss, I'm happy, but like, it doesn't mean I'm not gonna like the book just because they didn't fuck,
right? Or
just because they didn't fuck explicitly.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, thanks for that, Ash. Thanks for sharing. What was the book called again?
It was called Whisper by Tal Bauer.
Perfect. Thank you so much,
Jacko.
Jack, what are you watching?
Nothing new watching. I listened to a different podcast called The Clearing.
Okay.
And it's an investigative journalism podcast about this woman who had like a really shitty, rough childhood. Her dad was kind of like a piece of shit, and they moved around a lot. And she always just kind of had these like bad feelings, but didn't really, she was like so young that she didn't piece a lot of things together. But as she got older, she was trying to remember like each place she lived, and then she would Google if there was like crimes that weren't solved that happened there. And because like her dad was like he was a criminal, and then he was like reformed and did all these talks around, and she's just kind of like, I don't know about this. And so
seems suspect.
Yeah. So she found this one little town in, I think it was like Wisconsin or Ohio or something, and she remembered living there, And so she Googled like cold cases or whatever. And like, I think it was like 2 weeks before or something. I might have just made that up in my head, but I feel like it was not super long before she remembered the place and looked it up. There was an article because it was like the anniversary of the death of these 2 teenagers. And so she happened to see it and she was like, oh, what happened there? And so she called the police and said, like, I think that was my dad. And so then it's like the journalist and her like going and talking to people who were part of, like, who either had victims that he had killed or just talking to cops. It was crazy.
That's wild.
Like, can you imagine just being like, oh, I remember I used to live in this one town. I'm going to look it up. And there's like an unsolved murder. And you're like, hey,
bitch, that was my dad.
that was my dad.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's oddly appropriate.
It is all appropriate. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love
it
how,
is.
like, you're over here reading books about fucking. I'm over here reading books about people being, like, super in love and, like, soulmatey and, like, oh, and that was another really sweet thing about the whole, like, because David's a Muslim and their souls would belong together. Anyway, and then Jacqueline's like, murder!
Oh, yeah. All my shit's about murder.
Last question. Who's your favorite daddy? Mine is Tyler Bell. He's my favorite father.
Oh.
From Priest, if you recall, he would be my favorite. Who's your favorite daddy, your father?
Are we talking, like, real people or, like,
Could be
books?
whoever you want. Could be your favorite slutty internet daddy.
Pedro Pascal. He's my, like, he's like wholesome, but, like,
He's such a sweet man.
he just seems like the type of person that I would like to sit down and, like, goof off with.
Yeah. Like,
But,
he seems
like-
like a very down-to-earth, amazing human.
But, like, also, like, he would want you to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, which is where the daddy part comes in, where
Yeah.
he'd be like, make sure you're drinking your water and getting enough sleep.
yeah.
And here's how you drive a stick.
I mean, if Pedro Pascal wanted to teach me how to drive a fucking stick,
It
I would
comes
not
for
say
a
no.
full circle.
Amazing. Thank you, Jack.
I wouldn't say no.
Jack, can you think of your favorite father, daddy figure, etc.?
I feel like I might say Walter White because he learned how to cook meth for his family. And
Oh, I was like, who's Walter White?
he's the one who knocks.
Yeah.
So
I'll accept that answer, 100%.
Well, who? No, one who knocks. What does that mean?
Have you ever seen Breaking Bad?
No.
watch it.
How am I the one who's seen Breaking
If
Bad?
you
haven't.
know, you know.
Very good. Thanks, Jack.
Yep.
Daddy's galore.
So the next book we're going to talk about is Not All Himbos Wear Capes by C. Rochelle. It's available on Kindle Unlimited. You can download an ebook. You can purchase it. I encourage you to do so. And that wraps us up for today. So happy Father's Day to all the dads, daddies, etc. out there. And I hope you guys have a fabulous time. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thanks, Daddy.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Queens of Spice podcast. You'll find us on Instagram and Twitter at Queens of Spice. Or if you want to send us an email, you can reach us at queensofspice@gmail.com.